So, as you may have seen from maybe this video or maybe this video, I graduated! Okay, so what does that mean? Well, first, it means I'm moving out, so all my decorations are gone. Yeah, so, ignore the background being boring as hell, but that's okay, that's okay. That's not why y'all watch me. It's not for the decorations in the background. No, no, no. Okay, but I have been so busy with, like, getting things ready for graduation, graduating, doing my trip after my graduation, packing things up, but there is something that I actually really wanted to talk about leading up to graduation, but I was busy with finals, and so I didn't have time to film, and then I was like, okay, I'll do it when I finish my finals, but then I had to do all the graduation stuff, but here I am, and I'm going to talk to you about it right now. And that is, what was it like being a Therian in college? Which actually was kind of an interesting experience, and it may not sound like it might have been, but I'll get into that. Hey, I'm Faye. Alright, my light is fading fast, so I gotta get this rolling. I really wanted to film today, because like I said, I had time to film other times, and I want to get this done, okay? I really want to film this, so I'm gonna film it, no matter the fact that that light is fading very fast. Okay, let's go. First off, I just want to remind everyone that you can get pre-claims and mask commissions for my Ko-Fi here, and also I have 2 masks for sale, this one and this one, on my Etsy here. Okay. Thank you! Being in college as a Theorian has been interesting. College is usually the first time that anyone's, like, away from their parents and living on their own, and that was the case for me. I've lived a few hours away from my parents, and so traveling to see them isn't easy. They don't really have a lot of control over me, so it meant I got a lot more freedom in what I do. I can leave the house without asking, I can eat whatever I want, I can do whatever I want. I have complete freedom over my body, essentially. Thank God. But with that freedom comes great responsibility. That being said, I'm not a very responsible person. You have to take on a lot of your own work. You have to manage yourself, essentially, in everything you do. You have to be the one to go to your classes. You have to be the one to do everything. You get a lot more freedom in college, okay? You get a lot more freedom in the academic sphere as well. You can choose not to go to your classes. You can choose what assignments to complete. You don't have to share your grades with your parents. You make college what you make it, okay? So, like, what you give is what you take away. I never really wore gear on campus. I wasn't doing all that. I did wear a tail a couple times, and no one cared. That's also kind of what I mean by you have more freedom. No one cares. Most of you are the same age. You all don't care what other people are doing because you're too busy focusing on yourself. We're all broke. We all have finals to worry about. You see someone wearing a tail, you're like, you know what? That's not my problem. Not my problem. So, you know, you could probably get away with wearing gear on campus and no one caring. I mean, a couple times the furry group that's on campus would fursuit on campus, and maybe a couple people would ask to take pictures, but, like, no one cares. I think it's funny when adults are like, you can't get away with this when you grow up, like, when you finally grow up, and it's like, honestly, it gets so much easier when you grow up. High school people are so judgmental, but in college, literally, no one cares. My boss at my old job followed me on my account. Like, no one cares that you're a furry. I mean, unless you go and talk to someone who's explicitly anti-furry, like, no one cares. Everyone grows up and learns, hey, wait a minute, what other people do doesn't actually affect me. Wow. Crazy concept. Anyway, college was hard for me, though. Not hard in the sense that, like, the work was hard. As you can tell maybe by my lots of honors stoles and medallions, the academics for me were very easy. I didn't really struggle in that sense. I honestly breezed through the entire thing. It was honestly easier than high school because I wasn't in AP classes, which AP classes are brutal compared to college, I'm gonna be honest. If you're in AP, you're prepared for college. Don't worry. That part was a breeze. But I did have issues regarding my Therianthropy, and not necessarily in the realm of self-expression. As you may know, I started my accounts while I was in college. So I didn't start making content, wearing masks, like making fursuits, until I was in college. So I experienced college both not as a furry and not an outwardly expressive Therian, and also as a content creator, a furry, and a very outwardly expressive Theorian. And honestly, I started to enjoy college more whenever I was a furry and an outwardly expressive Therian, and I went and sought places where I could be myself. And that was fun. It made me find places where I could have community and find people that I wanted to be around. But as I became more expressive, I developed other issues. I wouldn't really call it species dysphoria, but I struggled a lot with sitting in lectures or sitting on the bus, and it felt so human, which is disgusting for me. I hate it. I'm a misanthrope. I really don't like people. I do not enjoy being around humans very much. But sitting in a lecture hall, I feel like I'm cramped. I feel like a gigantic big old cat who's not supposed to be there. I felt like I didn't really fit in the lecture hall. Like, I'm sitting there while this giant screen is up, and my teacher's telling us about her fictional crush on this architect and singing a song that she says is his theme song or whatever. I don't even know. She's stupid. I hated her. But I just felt like a big cat who didn't belong. Or, like, on the bus, I just felt like a giant mountain lion on the bus. Like, what is a mountain lion doing on the bus? They shouldn't allow a mountain lion on the bus. That must be so scary for all the other people. Like, they're just sitting here and there's a gigantic cat. Like, what are they supposed to do? Where are they supposed to go? Why is that here? Why is it taking the bus? Hello? So that was yucky. I don't know. I just felt out of place all the time. I felt like I was walking around on all fours, just like prowling and being a little cat or big cat or just generally a cat, and everyone else was so painfully human. College feels so human. It feels like an office job. Oh my god. You know what that feels like as a Therian? Oh my god. Sitting inside all day? Like, I don't even have the opportunity to, like, hang around my friends or, like, go to the cafeteria or hang out outside. Like, I'm in this gigantic lecture hall, then I sit on the bus for an hour. Like, ugh, ah, ah. Like, it genuinely felt revolting to my body. Like, I had to go out every single weekend and, like, do something in nature just to feel normal. Genuinely, if I did not go out into nature every week, I would start going crazy. It was just so human core. I didn't like that. So human coded. I didn't really enjoy that part of it. Another thing is, I went to a pretty big college. So, it was crowded, which made it feel more human, but also that meant the city was crowded. And when the city is crowded, there's not a lot of green, and there's not a lot of nature. My backyard, I could touch from one side here to one side here, and then the other side, I'd be able to touch this way twice. Like, I could, like, two of me would be able to touch. Yeah. I hope you understand. 2x1. Imagine that. Okay, thanks. I didn't have a lot of place to move around on my own, which there is a giant field behind my house, but like, it's surrounded by other houses, college kids. And like I said, no one really cares as much in college, but they'll still care if I go out there and start running around on all fours, pretending to be a cat and doing quadrobics. You know, there's a limit still. You know, there's still a human limit. So I had to drive out 30 minutes to go out somewhere to hike, or to do quadrobics, or to just touch grass, which of course was difficult because I didn't always have time to go touch grass. Literally, finals week, I was going insane. I was like, it was such a nice day outside. I'm like, outside, please, give me outside. And I couldn't go outside because I was busy writing essays on my laptop all day in the dark in this room. It was disgusting. I hated it. So all in all, college was an interesting experience, and I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I love academics. I have always loved studying. I love all subjects. I love going to school. I mean, I don't love the stress of some parts, and I don't love the suppressing my Therianthropy part, but I love education. I love reading. I love writing essays. I love speaking to scholars about topics I'm passionate about. I started a minor program at my school because I didn't have one that I wanted, so I just started one because I wanted to study it. I got to travel the world. I wrote so many essays and was really good at it. I was really, really good at it. Actually, I was one of the best at it in the entire university. 72,000 people, Only 12 people got one of these this year, and I was one of them. Okay, that's not the point. I may be one smart cat, but I'm still a cat. And it's hard to function in a place meant for humans as a cat. Oftentimes, I wore subtle pieces of gear that maybe helped me cope with some of those things, like my cat socks. And I didn't really have a support system in college. I have one friend who really supports trans people, alterhumans, literally anything. He's a really chill guy. I love him with all my heart. He does a lot of my photography for my Instagram. But my fiance still lived 10 hours away. And that's like the only two people I talk to. So I didn't have as strong as a support system as I did in high school. And I couldn't express my Therianthropy as often as I wanted, and I was allowed to in my house. And I didn't really have space to do so either. One could say that I could just go around my house acting like that. And it's true, I did for a while. But in college, you have roommates. My freshman year here, before I started being overly expressive with my Therianthropy, were brutal. Oh my god, they were the worst roommates I've ever had. I've had lots of roommates before with like summer camps or like summer classes. But those roommates, oh my god. I can't even express to you how horrible it was. The next year after they left, I literally still couldn't go downstairs. Going downstairs in my apartment triggered the fight or flight response to me. Like, I genuinely did not feel safe in my own house. It was so bad. I didn't feel like I was in danger, like I was gonna get hurt, but just emotional danger. Like, they would bully me in the living room. They would like invite all their friends over and laugh at me. It was so brutal. Because the thing is, like, when you're an alterhuman, you can't just pretend to be human. They knew I was weird. They knew something was off about me. I can't control that. They thought I was awkward and weird, and I get it, because I am awkward and weird for a human. If you consider me a cat, well, it all makes sense then, doesn't it? And they were kind of the popular girl type. They were into some, like, the nursing kinesiology kind of stuff. So, you know the type. My second year, I had a roommate. We never talked. But, you know, having someone else around the house, I still can't do, like, quadrobics in my living room or anything like that. It was better than my freshman year. At least she wasn't mean to me. We just weren't friends. We didn't talk to each other. I can't tell you her name now. Like, I legit don't remember her name. I don't remember what she looked like. Never saw her, never talked to her. My third year here, I didn't have a roommate. I was free. Thank God. I was free to do whatever I wanted in my house whenever I wanted. I felt like perfectly safe in my house for the first time. I could do whatever, whenever, however I wanted, and not worry about being judged. Wonderful. But then, a few months ago, I got a new roommate. And she's cool. We're friends. And we do a lot of cool stuff together. She knows I'm a furry. I won't explain to her what a Therian was, because literally when I told her I was a furry, she was like, I heard that's kind of like a weird thing. Like, isn't like one of those weird things? I've heard weird things about that. And I was like, no, let me explain. And I did, and she's chill with it. But, you know, Therian's a step too far. She did confide in me that she's conservative. My trans flag has been up in my room the entire time. Visible. Anyway, she seems pretty chill. She respects my pronouns. She respects my name. So, it must be fine. She's obviously not that bad. But, whatever. Chillax. It's fine. I'm moving out. So, I don't know. It's been a pretty mixed bag. It just felt so human. It was just such a human experience. There's no way to go to college and participate in a lecture or ride the bus or even graduate without feeling like you aren't supposed to be there. That was just the main takeaway that I wanted to bring to this conversation in this video, is just that I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. I love academics. And I loved researching things. I loved writing the papers. I loved everything about it. It just felt so human. I didn't fit in. I was a cat in this place that's only supposed to be for humans. And I made that video about being the first trans species biological feline Therian to be in Phi Beta Kappa. And the reason I got so specific with my identity about that is because while I was making the video, I was thinking, well, I'm probably not the first Therian. I'm probably not the first feline Therian. I'm probably not the first trans species feline Therian, so I kept getting more specific with it. And at the same time, I was like, this is probably going to rage bait everyone who isn't a Therian or doesn't understand these kind of things. And you know what it did? It got 1 million views on TikTok. Can you believe that? 1 million views. My first video with 1 million views is that. Even that ceremony felt awkward. Like, I'm just a cat. You're all people. And then they tried to interact with me afterward. I had this conversation with this guy, and we took each other's photos because our parents weren't there. I don't know. I just felt like a cat. How am I supposed to do all that stuff when I'm just a cat? Like, there's no accommodation for cats. They don't recognize you as a cat. It's just so human. Mind-numbingly human. I've never been in a place where being human was so important to these people. Not to mention, my university is very conservative, so they weren't accepting of trans people or queer people either, so I didn't really fit in there either. But every single day I rode that bus for an hour, and I just thought to myself, I don't think a cat is supposed to be here. You know what? I don't think I was. Those buses aren't built for cats, you know. Very human leg core. But I also felt that way with my disability. I mean, having to walk to the bus, to walk 20 minutes across a huge campus, and then back every single day in the rain, in the snow, in the ice, in the wind, in the dark, in the bright sun at 110 degrees. They were never really accommodating my disability either. My Therianthropy almost started to resemble my disability in the sense that I wasn't accommodated for either. I didn't fit in either way. It felt like everything just wasn't made for me. Like, I just couldn't function like that. I couldn't function in that kind of environment because it just wasn't built for me. I'd have to walk around the entire building, go through some back alley, then up like 3 elevators and 2 different floors and a whole maze just to get to a classroom because it had stairs. And the entire time I sat in the lecture hall, I felt like I didn't fit there because I was this gigantic cat. This gigantic, like, mountain lion or leopard or snow leopard or jaguar just sitting there disturbing the peace because jaguars aren't supposed to be in lecture halls. So, I don't know. Just felt weird. This isn't to discourage any alterhumans from going to college. If you feel like it would further your education and that's something you want to do, you should definitely do it. I honestly found the education part of it a great experience. I loved that part. Just, it's very human. Maybe pick a more progressive university. Maybe they'll have more cultural accommodation for you at least and be more accepting. I assume a progressive university would also be more accepting of disability. Mine sure wasn't. My university is also the kind of university to cut half of the classes for my major the second year I was there because they talk too much about diversity. It's literature. All literature talks about diversity. That is the only thing literature talks about. That's the whole point of literature, actually. That's a different gripe for another time. But yeah, this is just a quick little video just to say, hey, college was weird as a Theorian, and I had a unique experience. But yeah, it's a very human place. I felt out of place. I felt like an elephant in a tiny seat almost, but, you know, a giant mountain lion who can't get comfortable on a bench seat in the bus. Or those little tiny chairs in the lecture hall. But I graduated. I did it. I sucked it up. And I did it. And all the haters, move away. I'm so much smarter than you. Literally all the time. So here's to say, I graduated. Suck it. Okay, bye guys. I promise I'll be back soon.